Hey guys, it's Jody Dice again with MSLA Youth Alive and my friend Alan Griffin.
Woohoo!
Man, we had a great last session with him, and I'm going to tell you what, we could have went hours on this. I'm trying to spare you a little grief. Maybe we'll bring him back, man, and do some leadership training.
I'd love
to. Good thing to do. We also want to get him back and do some school assemblies. We kind of had some issues on these last ones, but
we'll get it.
We're going to milk you dry, baby, right here. We talked about a few things before, and man, I just want to share a story that happened to me, and this is going to kind of lead into this. I had finally got that, what I considered that big youth pastor's job. It was a youth group larger than 40 type setting, and so in probably the largest AG church in that part of the state. And I remember getting an opportunity to go to this school, and I had several students at this school, and I started going over to the ball games, and I knew a little bit about the history of the school and stuff. And I went there and started building this relationship. And I knew that the principal was just kind of hands off. You know, he was kind of like kept his distance, and anything that I would just offer, like, man, we'd love to come blow the bleachers out for y'all after football season, just so you don't have to hire anyone to do that and stuff of that nature. And it was like, no, I don't need your help. And he was just real cold, and I could never figure out what was going on. And then I found out later, it wasn't me. It was a former youth pastor ahead of us had brought a speaker into the school.
Okay.
He had hounded this principal for a window or for an assembly. The principal gave him an assembly with this guy. He kind of researched the guy, thought he was a great speaker, and this was a very sensitive area here in Mississippi, and the guy came in and he was very off color with some things that he did. And the principal just said, that's it, shut down everything. And though it had no reflection on me, and it was 4 years prior to me becoming the youth pastor.
Wow.
4 years. And so the reason I want you to understand that
memory like an elephant.
They don't forget. And we really never did get to do anything there ever. Finally, the principal did retire and move on, and the next principal came in, was promoted from within.
Okay.
They had a little bit of memory from what happened there, but they had seen us. We had built a little bit of rapport with them. Never really were able to just get into that school great, but they kind of lightened up on me a little bit.
Okay.
And so today I just want to talk to you about you've gone around and you've talked to many principals.
Yes.
Just coming into their schools and being able to speak and listen to them. What are some critiques and what are some praises, man, you hear from principals about youth leaders and pastors on their campuses?
Oh, wow. First of all, I love you all. Remember this. But some of y'all are crazy. Okay? I love you. Don't hate me. But the truth is, I hear a lot of really concerning issues. I mean, things that cause pause. And one of them would be if you come onto the campus, announce your presence. Go to the office and check in. Even if they tell you you don't have to, until you've been there a considerable amount of time, you need to check in. You need to make sure that you are protecting your principal.
Right.
As long as the principal knows who's on his campus, he is protected. She is protected. Make sure that you announce your presence. Another one that I hear is that, and I know that none of you are thinking about doing this, but removing students from the campus without discussing it or getting approval. Even if their parent says, hey, go pick up my kid, it'd be a good idea to have that parent call the school first and or bring a note with you to the school. Just a couple of the things there. Another one would be, don't let your first connection to your principal be an ask to do a huge event. You're just cruising that's like asking a girl to marry you before you even go on a date. We haven't even been on a date. Hey girl, will you be my bride? Wait, that's weird. We wouldn't do that. No one does that, but we do some really foolish things, I think, for the cause of Christ because we're so excited and eager to do something good. And so I think many times our good is evil spoken of because of that. Don't walk into the school with food and give it to students. I got a really good trick. If you accidentally do this and you walk into school with food and you haven't gotten approval, give it to everybody in the principal's office. Then ask for permission to do something like this again. Don't make that mistake. It's actually a rule that you cannot bring food into schools for many school districts.
And that's a good point right there, is know what policies are at that campus.
Oh, yes. Yes. Please, youth pastor, I love you, girl. I love you, my brother. Do not walk into a school looking like a student. Don't do it. Don't come in with your ripped jeans. Don't come in with your tore up polo. Try to come in looking like a professional. How would a doctor come to the school? How would a lawyer come to the school? How would a dentist come to the school? You are a professional. You can be bivocational or trivocational. That means you're trying everything to make money. But when you come to that school, you need to look like a professional and come in representing the church, and you're representing your senior pastor, your lead pastor, and Christ. Come in as an authority.
At least meet the dress code.
Exactly. If your students are wearing uniforms and you come up with holy jeans, what you're telling your students is when you get out of here, you get to do what you want. And what you really want to say to your students is, this is helping you become like me. A great representation of a grown-up. And that means that you need to look the part.
Now, what are some things that you've met with principals and they say, you know what, I love this youth pastor that brought you in today because they fill in the blank?
You know, most of the time, an educator or an administrator's heart is right after their stomach. And so whatever makes them feel good. Well, how can we make our administrators smile? What's going to make them happy? Number one, if you have young people in that school, your young people need to be the best kids in the school. They need to be the ones that follow all the rules. They need to be the ones that do their best in school. They may not get the best grades, but they do their best in their education. They need to be the students that apply themselves and serve. If your students are seen picking up trash with your youth group t-shirt on, you won.
Right.
If your student is seen dropping trash with your youth group t-shirt on, you lose. And so these are some of the great things they're seeing, is they're seeing the young people from groups that are being the best examples in the school. Powerful. As a leader ourselves, the ones that they really appreciate are the ones that are there for the administration. They're there for me. If I need something, I know I can call them. We ran out of Gatorade. I called the church. The youth pastor took $25 out of his own pocket, went to the sporting goods store, bought those big packets of Kool-Aid, and filled up a cooler and brought it for practice. I knew I could count on him to help us. The easiest way to the principal's heart is through their stomach. What makes them smile, what causes them joy.
And that's
feed
serving.
that.
Serving. That's, in fact, you know, Jesus washed his disciples' feet.
Yeah.
And he told us that, you know, unless you serve, you're no better than me. You're not greater than me. You're not going to, if you're a part of me, this is what you're going to do. Yeah. Our DNA should be to serve, because that's what Christ's DNA
The
was.
greatest of you is the servant of all. You know, that's it.
And just for example, I've got a youth pastor right now that works a full-time job, and is the youth pastor of a church plant. So you don't think his plate is full of things he's trying to do. And one of the things that we were in discussion about how he could get on the campus. And, you know, it seems to be that our first reaction to get on the campus is, we got to go start a Bible club.
Yes.
We got to go do this school assembly.
Good idea.
And ultimately, yes, we want those things. But trust has to be gained.
That's right.
And so one of the things that we suggested to him was, we gave him multiple suggestions, but the one that clicked with him was, let's run concession stands for the football game so the parents and the boosters don't have to run concessions.
That's great.
And so, man, he started doing that, and the principals saw that. That the church, they permitted them to wear their church t-shirts in there and stuff. Right. In between quarters, they would come across the PA. Hey, we want to thank church so and so for running concessions for us. Their services are on Sunday at 10 a.m. I mean, they were getting all this free publicity in the community, but it was because they just said, "Hey, we don't want nothing back.
Yeah,
we just want to help you guys." And so they blessed the parents, they blessed the booster, they blessed the principal. And so those are some of the things that, and you're saying, those are the things that we really want you guys to understand, that when you serve, when you go to that school with a servant's heart, understand, and we covered this before in the last one, it's a time investment. The first time to the school campus usually isn't going to get you much. It's not going to be a right off the bat thing that, oh, you are our answer to our prayers.
We've been waiting for you.
Play your Pied Piper music and the guys are going to follow. It's not going to happen. They're going to look at you kind of funny. They're going to watch you. And one of the points that you made a while ago, I thought was really, really good, because I had another incident that we were trying to start a campus club.
Oh, yeah.
And trust me, folks, I know what the law is, and I know you know what the laws are on starting clubs, student-initiated, student-led.
That's right.
Side note, don't play the legal card right off the bat with the principal.
Try not to ever do it.
He already thinks, all right, so now you're a liability.
Yeah,
so,
now you're trying to hurt me.
Yeah, stay away from the legal card. That should be the last bullet in the gun that's fired.
That's right.
And it should be really thought about being fired. But I had a kid that was wanting to start this club, and we went through all the steps, and I knew the school was open to it.
Yeah.
We knew what the policies were on clubs, but there was always not this year or not this semester or something. So I finally went and met with the principal personally without the student. And this is the part about having that relationship with the principal, that I sat down and he just finally said, I want this on my campus. The principal was a Christian. He was a spirit-filled Christian, on fire for God. He says, but I can't have a guy that spends as much time in detention running a Bible club. I just can't.
Wow.
And I didn't know that about him. Yeah. I knew that he was a cut up and a lot of fun, but then now we have issues that we had to address there. And so that was a key point, man. Yeah. And I hope y'all caught that nugget in there, that your students, when you're in your youth setting, a good citizen at the school is very important, because that exemplifies your witness and can hinder or hurt the ministry on the campus.
Huge.
So we brought this up a little earlier, and I want to dig into this a little deeper. So when do you make that ask to a principal about starting an assembly or starting a campus club?
Wow.
When do you make that ask?
Okay. Let me scoot my chair a little close. I want to look at you real quick. Look at me, youth pastor. Look at me, youth minister. Get a piece of paper right now and get ready. I'm going to give you a timeline of how to get into ministering to students and teachers and administrators in your school. Grab that paper, because we make a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes when it comes to reaching out to administrators and leaders. And this is one way you can learn from our mistakes and do an amazing job. In your mind and in your heart, you need to be thinking, I'm not going to approach my administrator or my principal until, with a big idea, Bible club, assemblies, until we have a relationship. Until there's a relationship, don't do it. What you want to do is establish a relationship. Now, one thing I've learned in the Bible is to be wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove.
That's right.
In other words, do good and do no harm. And the greatest way that we can do that is to follow the examples of people who made mistakes like we have and then fix them like we have. One person in the Bible that did that was Jacob. We know him as Israel. Jacob robbed his brother's blessing. That relationship was broken.
Right.
But when Jacob went to meet his brother, he did some very amazing, powerful, spiritually and corporately brilliant things. First thing he did is he wrestled with his past, with God. He got it right with God. If you and I don't know who we are in Christ, we're going to struggle reaching out to people who know who they are without him.
That's right.
Because we're going to say, can I come and serve your school? They're going to go, I hate you. I don't want you anywhere near me. I'm an atheist. Get out of here. And you're going to go, he hates me. Instead of going, he loves me. He just doesn't know it yet. God's going to help me. We're going to get this. Wrestle with who you are. Wrestle with your relationship with Christ. Get that, and then begin your campaign of love. First thing you need to do, write a letter to your administrator, to your principal, to the activities director, introducing yourself and connecting that school to your senior pastor. You, as a youth pastor, are not going to be at that church forever, traditionally. Pastor will be. So make sure that they understand that you are under his authority or her authority, and that you're supporting and serving the school under their request. Send that letter. Every month thereafter, send a card, a postcard. On that card, write what you're praying for them about. Write the things you're believing the school's great things are going to happen. Encourage them on that card and send it every month. After 6 months or 8 months of sending that card, now it's time to send a gift. You see, what Jacob did is he started to go see his brother Esau, and he sent messengers and the ladies and the children ahead of him. They approached the kingdom of Esau with gifts. Esau said, who are these lambs and whose are these goats and what is all this food? And they said, it's yours. Well, whose servants are you? Well, our master Jacob, known as Israel, said, we are yours too. See, what we need to remember to do is send out blessings to the school before your arrival. So one day you call your administrator's secretary or the principal's administrator and say, hey, I want to buy lunch for everybody in the office. Can I call Jimmy John's on Friday and send y'all a blessing? And they'll tell you, well, we don't like Jimmy John's. That's what I love about administrators. They're so honest. They're so honest. We don't want Jimmy John's. Well, what do you want? Well, we want Panera. We want soup and sandwiches. We got it. Get your kids to raise some money. Even if you have 10 kids, say, we want to bless your school. Get that money together. Buy them lunch. Don't go to the lunch. Send your gifts ahead of you. 1 month later, after they've gotten another postcard of you telling them, I love you, I'm praying for you, you're now at the 10 or 11th month mark, you go to the school and just say, hey guys, what else can we do to serve this school? What else can we do? I'm just here to ask, what else can I do? Because all I care about is serving you and your school. I care about the education of your students. If all you and I care about is the spiritual life of the students, the school has no reason to bother with us, because there is a separation of church and state. And I believe in that separation, and you should too. How can I serve the educational enrichment of these kids? How can I serve the moral compass of the students on this campus? If you ask the right questions, you'll get the responses you want to hear. And the response you want to hear is, what can you do? Ha ha! Now you can offer up your suggestions. You know what, Mr. Charles, can I send you a list of ideas I have of things that maybe I could help serve? I've been asking your activities director. I've been asking your administrator. I've been asking some of the teachers around the school what they need. Can I send you a list of some of the things they shared with me? And then together, maybe we could figure out a solution of things that our church can do. You're going to discover that your relationship just started. Now, why do we believe in the separation of church and state? Because we don't want religion in the school. We want people of faith to be enriched in school.
That's right.
We want to invest our Christian teenagers into the campus. That's the key. It's not about our religion being promoted broad and wide in the school. It's about the faith that we have being enacted, lived out before the people in the school. And that is legal.
Now, let me get this straight. I was trying to do math quick in my head. You were talking about 8 months, 10 months, 11 months out. You just covered a school year of just a whole school year of just sending letters and postcards.
That's right.
So you're saying the first year is just basically communicating.
I love you. And you know what? As a new leader in the community, or if you've been there in the community but have no reach in the school, they don't know about you or your students. So it gives you a great chance to, during that year, disciple your students so that they are the best kids in the school. They are the most well-behaved. They are the best athletes because you're preaching the truth of Jesus Christ. If you serve Jesus, you work hard. Working hard is the key to success in anything that we do.
That's right.
And so your students become the best. Now you're associated with who you lead and not just what you say.
And another good thing about this is if you strategically think this out, it's not going to happen by accident.
No.
It's not going to, okay, well, I'll send this letter and hope it kind of bites. You need to strategically, it needs to be on your calendar. This is the day I send the cards every month.
Yes.
And this is the day. So you go 9 months, school's out, 10, 11 months, we're in the summer.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Summer trips. You want a summer
Oh
trip
my
for your
goodness.
students?
Here we go. We're at the campus. We're painting classrooms. We're cleaning sidewalks. And I can tell you right now, you'll have no problem getting entrance in the school when there's no students there. If you want to make an impact in a school, do things when no one's there, because then they know you care. They know you care about your school. You know, if you're going to do missions trips, you might as well do a foreign trip and a local trip. And that local trip can be acts of service to your community. That local trip can be reaching out to administrators and teachers in the summer. There's a lot we can do to make sure that they know we care about them and that the school is served.
Now, you will have opportunities, and I'm not trying to say, well, if you can't do it for a year, forget it. I say start. If you can't start in the first of the year and you're listening to this right now and you say, well, you know what? We've got 2 more months of school left.
Yeah.
Start now. Start building some sort of relationship with it. But I would start in August when school rolls in. We start in August around
Yes.
here, and it's hot. But let that be the time that you start sending those letters out. Let that be that time that you start working on it. And you can start making initial contacts now. We do have opportunities where, you know what, I might not have the connection to come onto a school campus.
Yes,
But find out about your pastor.
that's right.
He may already have an open door there, and we don't need to be renegade youth leaders.
No.
Go to pastor and say, hey, do you already have a relationship with this guy?
That's right. And the pastor, and this is part of that CEO mentality of the school principal. He's a CEO. Your pastor is a community CEO. So if your senior pastor, your lead pastor calls a principal, they're going to call him right back, because there's a difference. And that leadership, that community leadership is valuable. So every postcard you're doing, every other one, I had Rich Wilkerson write postcards with me, because I'd go to staff meeting and I'd say, hey, could you just do a postcard real quick? And here's the things we're going to pray about in staff meeting today for the school. And he would write that postcard out. We'd pray over it, and then we'd send it. Set up opportunities for your pastor to connect with your principal, because you are the servant of that pastor. We shared about that relationship. The pastor's the shepherd, and we are the tenders. The flock tending is done by associates and ministers like us. But our pastor is the under shepherd of Christ. And so we want to make sure that we are promoting our elder, our leader, in the minds and hearts of those at our school.
And you reap what you sow.
That's right.
If you bring honor to him, honor will come to you.
That is right. And your students need to hear your pastor's voice, and your students need to not only come on Wednesday or Thursday night, whenever your service is, but they need to be a part of the ongoing ministry of the church. Do not just have them dance in the front row during worship. They can usher. They can clean the campus. They can do bathrooms. And you know what? I've noticed young people love to serve the house. And when your young people serve God's house and they serve the schoolhouse, you're not going to have any problem linking the two.
That's right. So again, man, I just want to thank you for being with us today, Alan, man.
It's been fun.
It's been awesome having you.
Man, thanks for letting me
And,
speak.
Man, I'm sitting here and gleaned myself. In fact, some of it just stirs up the old youth pastor days. That, man,
Yes.
I have to be honest with you. I miss being a youth pastor at
Man,
times,
it's so
just
much
for
fun.
this reason.
It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. So I hope that you understand the schools aren't ripped up with razor ribbon with the sole purpose of keeping you out But you don't need to run in there with your head down and try to knock the door open and make things happen. Build those relationships. And if anything, be sure that you go in there with the servant attitude of Christ, that you're going to serve that school. And I'm telling you, honor will come, favor will come, and you're going to be blessed. And you're going to see your youth group grow too as a result of it.
That's right.
So we love you guys. We believe in you. Like I said before, keep reaching, connecting, and rescuing.